4 o'clock. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday, September 11th, 2023, 4 p.m. We're in the Carson City Community Center, Robert Bob Kroll Boardroom, and with the Carson City Culture and Tourism Authority Board of Director meeting. David, you want to do a roll call?
Yes, Chair. Member Giomi?
Here.
Chair Jones?
Here.
Member Kem? Okay, we'll mark him absent. Vice Chair Rader?
Here.
Member McKay?
Here.
We have a quorum, Chair.
If I could ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I'll ask for any public comment. Any member of the public have anything to say? Nothing? Hearing none, we'll move on for possible action for approval of the minutes for the August 14th, 2023 CTA board meeting. Any member of the board have any corrections or changes they'd like to see to the minutes? If not, if I could get a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We'll move on now to the consent agenda. Would any member of the public like any individual item pulled from the consent agenda for individual review? Would any member of the board like any item pulled for individual review? If not, if I could get a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. That takes us to item 10, discussion and possible action regarding a proposed amendment to the interlocal agreement for administrative services and facility use and management between Carson City, the Carson City District Attorney's Office, and the Carson City Culture and Tourism Authority. CTA to provide that the CTA will host its website and register its domains, and authorization for the CTA Executive Director to take any action necessary to implement the amended agreement. I know, David, you've got the background on this. I think that really there's, it's probably at the end of the day a good thing for the CTA. The city's made some changes security-wise, but it won't affect our interactions with finance, HR, just a few things, and I think the board would like to know any added cost to the CTA.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. For the record, Dave Peterson, Executive Director with Visit Carson City. So just as the Chair said, Carson City IT currently hosts our website and has all the domain registrations underneath them. And with this amendment to the interlocal agreement, we're going to move the hosting and take that responsibility on for ourselves, as well as the transfer of the ownership, technically, of the domains. So we're looking at probably a couple $100 a month for all of this is what a rough cost we expect to be. So it's not a huge burden on the agency. And I'm happy to answer any specific questions unless they're super technical, in which case I might need Lydia or Ryan to help as far as the hosting is concerned. But Frank and his team approached us about doing this, given some of the security challenges that the city faces, and made us aware that they're also moving the various department websites, I guess, to Granicus on the city side of things. But that will not work for us in terms of what we need moving forward, which is some different technologies on our website, but we also need to bring back international traffic to our own website as well, given what we're doing internationally. So,
yes. So David, I guess I have a little bit of concern about the security aspect of it, and I just want some assurances of the wrong word, because there are no assurances, but maybe just a level of comfort that how are we going to address the security component? Because we're losing, the city's security suite and the cybersecurity function there, and you know, I mean, I think cyber attacks are a real potential threat. So do you feel like doing this jeopardizes us or exposes us? I mean, I guess
I-
we don't really have a choice as,
We don't have a choice.
but
Um,
at the same time, I
yeah.
guess I need to hear how we feel like you feel like you're going to address that.
So we have been working with Carson City IT and Ryan, Sarah, the whole web dev team at KPS3 to look for an alternate solution. And if I say something wrong, you guys please jump in. But we have a WordPress website, and so the solution that KPS3 recommended, and we spoke a little bit with IT here in Carson City about, is Cloudways that we're going to move to, which will work for our website. And I don't pretend to. I mean, I know we're going to get all the SSL certificates in place and all of the things that we need to do, but I'm not sure that I'm competent enough to explain the whole security, I guess, how Cloudways works relative to the city's internal hosted solution. But
So it's not, you're not moving the network part of it and
No.
the data and
Nope.
it's
Just the
simply
website.
the public website.
just visit, yeah, so visit carsoncity.com and then, .biz, the Mark
Right.
Twain days. Again, if I say something wrong, you guys correct me.
Correct.
It's just the website. So
Okay.
network access, H Drive, we still will have through the city, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to do our payroll, pay
Right.
bills and things of
Okay.
that nature. Yeah. And that has all the, exactly, all
Okay,
the security.
good.
So it's
Okay.
just the website.
Okay,
And
thank you.
Is that okay, you guys? I don't want to misspeak, but.
Yes,
Okay.
if I remember right, Cloudways has its own level of security that they have with each of their subscriptions for whichever one you buy. So they will
Okay.
have that part of that part of it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And one other quick thing I might add too, is we have our development team and they do monitor the site. We have technology in place, so 24/7 it's being monitored. If anything were to go down or there was any issue security-wise, our team would be on it and they would deploy any sort of help in trying to make sure that we get the website back on as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Sarah. So yeah, we're sort of shifting that responsibility, I guess, from the web dev team with the Carson City IT folks to you guys, basically, so. But yeah, I think this is good for us in the long run. I think most importantly, to be able to allow the international traffic to come through to visit carsoncity.com and .biz, is something we desperately need given what we're doing internationally. So I look forward to bringing that traffic back to the website and allowing those folks to come through. But yeah,
We'll have another public comment in,
oh, Sarah, will you just identify yourself?
Yes, Sarah Polito, Vice President Client Strategy at KPS3.
Thanks, Sarah.
And I'm Lydia Beck, Marketing and PR Manager with Visit Carson City.
okay. Any other comments? Yeah. Concerns from the board? I think for the most part, it'll be seamless from the administrative point. All right, if I can get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement amendment number 1.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. That takes us to item 11, presentation and discussing regarding the fiscal year 2024 Marketing Public Relations Plan. Lydia and KPS3 are going to handle this one.
Yes, again, Lydia Beck with Visit Carson City. Thank you all for being here. We're really excited to present to you guys what's really our first formal marketing and PR plan that's really come out of Visit Carson City, and at least in the time that I have been here in the 5 years. So first off, this was an incredibly collaborative effort massive effort between Visit Carson City and KPS3. We've been working on this for quite a while to create what's going to be the foundation of the remainder of this year and for years to come. So this is really going to be a fluid document that will continue to edit and change throughout the years and update annually as well. So what you're seeing today is actually an abbreviated version of the formal document, believe it or not, showing you the key parts of our marketing and PR efforts. We're going to roll through these slides pretty quickly, so please stop us at any point if you do have any questions on any section. And I'm going to let the team also introduce themselves during their section when they come up instead of trying to roll down the line here. Obviously, you'll see our table of contents, but I do think it is important to kind of start with the introductions and give you a visual of what the entire team looks like that has touch points on our account. from KPS3 to the Visit Carson City team. So again, they'll be presenting their portions that they're actually working on. They'll introduce themselves at that time. But I think you'll be excited about the amazing people that we have here, and that we've chosen to partner with, and that I'm lucky enough to work with on a frequent basis now. So from there, I want to go into our manifesto. So we've got some lofty goals, and a pretty big wave of change coming for this year. So we felt like a manifesto of sorts was important to really encapsulate our charge, our goal, and our vision for the future of all of these departments within our marketing department. So, igniting Carson City's story, our manifesto, we light the way for people to reconnect with that voice inside them that says there's still adventure ahead of them. After all, a getaway to Carson City is not just a vacation, it's an expedition into the unexpected. As the marketing team of Visit Carson City, we're the center point of connection. It's our mission to ignite curiosity fueled by data and analytics. Every decision we make is designed to captivate, inform, and inspire. And we know this team is capable of reimagining Carson City's storied past and writing its future. Let our manifesto be the compass that steers us towards a year of inspiration, information, connection, and creativity. So I hope that shows how excited we are about pushing the limits and forming our goals for this next year and the years to come. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Ryan to talk about our target audiences.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Sullivan. I'm the account manager at KPS3 and have been working with Lydia and Dave and the Visit Carson City team for the past 3 years now. So it's been really great. And to kind of go through our target audiences, these were audiences that we've established and they've evolved since working with you guys. And so we have that primary audience where it is millennials, outdoor or older weekday travelers, outdoor enthusiasts, and history buffs. So really those are the ones looking at our pillars, kind of building around our audiences, making sure that we connect the dots, and then not forgetting that secondary audience with business travelers, capital chasers, and Highway 50 trekkers and railway buffs. If you want to go. Perfect. And so for our target markets, really looking at that DMA basis, so that Northern California of like Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto, San Francisco, and Oakland and San Jose, but then also shifting to look at Las Vegas, Los Angeles, looking at our secondary markets too of Phoenix, Portland, and Seattle. And I think one of the important things to look at is our tertiary audience of that day trippers, because we have the proximity of being so close to Lake Tahoe and Reno and really capitalizing on that. And we know a lot of people who go up to Lake Tahoe are there for the day, even people that are, just going to Lake Tahoe to see it and then go down to Carson City, really maximizing that potential as well. Looking at our brand positioning, the main focus is showing that Carson City is that relaxed, family-friendly destination that provides travelers with a place to call home as they explore the history and natural wonder of Northern Nevada. So as you'll see through the next section that Sarah will be kicking off with our strategy, kind of relating back to this brand positioning and overall with each area that we're working on.
Great. All right, Sarah Polito, Vice President Client Strategy with KPS3. For our strategic framework, when we had discussed KPS3 coming back on board with you all, there were 3 things we really wanted to commit to. One was being more strategic, and obviously this plan is helping reinforce that, becoming more collaborative, and this definitely was a great collaborative effort. And then, of course, just being more integrated, making sure that everything we were doing had a lot of synergies and everything was kind of being fully connected. So throughout this plan, you're going to see that that is our ultimate goal as we work to get heads in beds and to attract people to Carson City, and so they can explore all those amazing, wonderful attractions that you all have to offer here. So thinking about that integrated approach, we have a lot of different channels and avenues that we can reach people through the website, through our creative and brand, influencer relations, organic social media, traditional media, paid digital media, doing our search engine optimization, emails, and public relations. And again, all of that is really going to fit in well together. And this plan really made sure that everything was being thought of and how we could connect all of those dots so we could maximize all of our efforts. As areas of focus that we're going to be working through and making sure that our different ads and placements and social media all hits is attractions, your incredible events, arts and culture, helping support Stu with some of his sales efforts, and then of course the outdoors, which Jenna will be talking about as well with our campaigns. When we think about their overarching marketing goals, of course, we have an awareness goal, but then we also have the conversion goal. Awareness is just, again, raising that awareness of Carson City and all that it has to offer. And then as far as conversions go, we want to get heads in beds and make sure that we have people staying here. Our minimum goal is 3 nights, and then our big audacious goal is to get them to 4 nights. And then we have specific goals as well, broken down kind of when you think about that circle. Each division has their own goals. I'm not going to walk through these here because my colleagues here today will be sharing those, but we do have them documented here as well. All right, and then as far as priorities go, there is so much great work coming into play. We have developing this integrated marketing plan, which we have done, conducting a social media audit, which Sarah Robbins will be speaking about, and developing a comprehensive strategic plan very specific to social media, and that's in the works. We have executing the extended brand guidelines and making sure that we continue to have some incredible messaging that helps amplify all the work that we're going to be doing. Refreshing that nostalgia campaign that we launched back in 2022 and making sure that that stays nice and fresh. Doing a pop-up campaign, talking about some new services that KPS3 is providing with digital advertising and social and SEO. Making sure we keep up that steady drumbeat on the PR side, and then of course maintaining the website and helping with some of those functions that Dave spoke about earlier. So we have a full list of great deliverables that we'll be working on all year long so we can help move the needle. And with that, I will turn it over to Jenna.
Thank you. I'm Jenna Hubert, Creative Director at KPS3, and I have been working with the Carson City team with Dave and Lydia since KPS3 partnered with you all. So I've been through the website and the brand development, and most recently the nostalgia campaign. And so this year, some of our goals are really just to build upon those foundations that we've created. Little walk down memory lane is that we started with the website. We launched that, and that really set the foundation for the brand. And then we developed the logo after that, which launched with the website. But what we want to do is go back and make sure that we are really honing in on key messaging, voice and tone, being really clear about how we want to position campaign messaging over brand messaging, and create that roadmap and give ourselves a true brand standards to be able to reference. And that helps everybody internally stay on the same page, and then externally too, if we ever partner with other vendors or need to distribute that brand, it all is really consistent. So it's kind of that last little linchpin of the brand that we really want to make sure we're dialing in on. To be clear on that, when we say we're going to look at the visual identity, we won't be touching the logo or any of the color palette, things like that, just mostly fine tuning it and making sure that it's as timeless as we want it to be. So next up, we will be looking at the nostalgia campaign. We're gonna update nostalgia, basically, freshen it up. So we wanna make sure that that campaign gets the longevity that it deserves. It was well researched, it was well developed. We know that it resonates with our audiences. We just wanna make sure that the look and feel and the messaging stays fresh. So we will take a look at that, probably update it visually. We'll check in on how it's performing and make adjustments from there. But we do plan on running that on traditional media in the background throughout this year. And then, of course, we will be supporting the Visit Carson City team with any ongoing creative and content development. We know that there are grant opportunities that come up, there are partnership opportunities that come up, so we're leaving a little bit of room for that magic, and we'll be supporting there.
Hi there, I'm Sarah Robbins, Associate Vice President of Social Media at KPS3. This will actually be the first year that our social media division is working with Dave and Lydia and Zach. I'm really excited to be a part. Our approach this year will be in a collaborative strategic approach where we are providing strategic recommendations, but the team here is still delivering on that. And that's because they currently are doing a great job with the existing plan. We're just looking to up it a little bit, add a little bit more of a creative content element to it that will surprise and delight our followers. And we plan on doing this through intentional curation of content and strategically focusing on the platforms that are earning the highest results. When we look at measuring social media, one of the most important things to consider is engagement and engagement rates. So engagements are anything that include a like, a comment, a share, a click, or even a video view on our posts. And then the engagement rate is the average number of interactions that our content has per follower. And the reason we like to measure this is because it's a true testament to how the content is performing and resonating with our audiences. When we look at industry standards, industry being the travel and tourism industry, Carson City is blowing it out of the water. They are exceeding on all platforms, doing a killer job, and this year our goal is to not just maintain that, but to further exceed in that. How we plan to do that is with a few changes that are based on these current metrics, as well as industry standards, as well as social search trends. The areas of focus for this year will include prioritizing Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook over other platforms, tailoring content for each platform based on our active audiences, gearing up the voice and personality for our priority platforms, and then looking at a higher ratio of visitor point of view visuals. And in addition to those killer engagement rates, which we will try and increase a little bit on TikTok and Instagram, and then Facebook, really kudos to the team for how well they are doing there, looking to maintain that. But we're also going to add amplification rate goals this year. Amplification rate is the rate at which content is being shared. It's considered a flattering metric because it means our followers like our content so much that they want to share it with their friends and family. But also, they're doing this at their own discretion. We are not asking them to share it. They're doing it because, they like the content so much that they want to help us further reach different audiences. Of course.
Can you, oh, good, you already went back. You're showing growth or goals to growth in all but Facebook. Is, you just talk a little bit about why you think maintaining is a legitimate goal versus expanding? I mean, are we that far in front of where we should be? Is it harder? Is it just, what's the reasoning behind that?
Yes to all of those things.
Okay.
Again, the industry benchmark for travel and tourism is very low, not even 1%, and currently
Right.
Carson City is at 5.5%. So it's well above that industry standard. And Facebook generally isn't necessarily a platform that organically people are searching for travel inspiration. So the fact that you are seeing success on those platforms currently is really, again, just a testament to the work that's being done. So I think maintaining is with the direction that Facebook is in terms of, again, search and content, I think the best approach for this year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then I will pass it back to Lydia.
Thanks, Sarah. You heard me spoke a little bit. You heard me last month speak a little bit about Glocally and our influencer relations. So this is more kind of a recap of that and then where we want to go for the next year. So we work closely with Glocally to not only hire and negotiate rates with influencers, but they also do a wonderful job of providing metrics and follow-up for each visit. So our goal when we are strategically looking for influencers and giving them direction on what we're looking for is making sure that, again, they align with our brand pillars and that the content that they create is authentic and their experiences are fun. And then that shines through in the content that we're getting from them so that when we share it on our platforms as well, it really fits our brand. So we are going to continue to prioritize creators with strong Instagram and TikTok followings. That's really where the influencers really live. And we'll have that, from our target markets as well, making sure that their audiences are from our ideal target market. It's not just where they live. And then we'll have a minimum of 4 influencers that will be brought to market. We're going to continue to partnership with Shelby Burns to create TikTok and Instagram content we can turn into ads on the platforms. And then continue to make sure that we're suggesting really specific itineraries that fit the interests of each creator so that they are going to have that really best experience for them in Carson City. And then how are we going to measure that? So our current engagement rate is at about 1%. So we're going to up that to 1.5% or higher. Engagement rate for their platforms, we don't have a lot of control over, just making sure that their experience is great so that their content is engaging. And then our impressions, we're looking at 400,000 across the platforms. We're going to target 200,000 plus followers between all creators, and then hopefully reach 140,000 people with all posts from the creators. And again, you got a taste of what those reports look like last month. And so we are just excited to continue that great partnership with Globally and utilizing that software to have some real measurable results from influencers, which you don't get all the time. So, all right. And from there, I will hand off to Nicole, who you guys know for public relations.
Hi there, Nicole Shearer, Director of Public Relations at KPS3. It's great to see all of you. I've been working on the Visit Carson City account now for a little over 2 years, and today I'm going to talk to you specifically about our public relations strategy, or our working playbook, as we like to call it. So a central tenet within our public relations strategy is really relationship building. So we want to continue to forge relationships with local, regional, and national print, online, and broadcast media. So there are some crossovers with the influencers and bloggers that Lydia just mentioned as well for media exposure. And ultimately, it's all to increase awareness about Visit Carson City. We do this in a number of different ways. So we respond to relevant help a reporter out requests that come in multiple times a day. We identify events surrounding key initiatives and of interest to the media throughout the year, especially with an eye toward arts and culture programs and future and new events and exhibits. We also monitor media opportunities for newsjacking. So we'll look at different travel trends that are taking place nationally, and we'll see where Carson City will be able to fit within those trends, and we'll reach out to media accordingly. And so through proactive pitching, that's how we're reaching out. We share stories of Carson City. So we share stories of the family-friendly attractions, outdoor adventures, history and cultural ties, to educate media of the various offerings to travelers. We do this through well-researched news angles and pitch emails, and we create and distribute press releases as needed, related oftentimes to key events and new attractions. The Cap Tahoe is one we'll talk about in a bit, and news stories in Carson City. Further, we schedule about 6 to 8 media calls to discuss story angles with key media. Zoom's been wonderful in that respect. We can do desk side visits without even leaving our home and our office with media from across the country. We send road trip kits to media that we've identified as likely to write a story and or travel to Carson City for a familiarization tour. And then, of course, we also invite and secure relevant media from our target audiences to come for those fam visits and really experience our brand pillars firsthand. And then they, in turn, go back and cover Carson City in their media outlet. Another key strategy for us within public relations are the strategic collaborations that we work to foster, whether that's with Travel Nevada, the Reno Tahoe Territory, and neighboring DMOs. We partner with all of them to bring for joint media relations efforts and to bring media into the region. So they cover us, not just Visit Carson City alone, but they'll cover regional stories and different aspects of Visit Carson City. We do this by collaborating on FAMs. This year, we're going to be attending Travel Nevada's event in New York City, where we're going to have an opportunity to meet firsthand with some of these journalists and media, and that'll serve as a pipeline for bringing media in and or for collaborating with media to tell certain stories. And then, of course, we'll continue to consider in-market media missions as they're hosted by Travel Nevada. Thanks.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
but,
it's
I
okay.
just had a question that's kind of related to that. So we often get Lydia contacting us about a travel writer or someone or influencer coming in to tour the Stewart Museum. And then sometimes we'll get notified by Travel Nevada of the same kind of thing. Do you guys coordinate that with Travel Nevada, or do they let you know when they're bringing someone in?
We do as much as possible. So we absolutely work with Tracy, our PR liaison at Travel Nevada. She often I would say almost always lets us know
Yes.
when they're bringing somebody into Carson City. We will work with Tracy to identify what that itinerary should look like. So that media person's points of interest, different stories they're looking to tell, and from there we'll work with them to develop their itinerary. The same goes for the Reno Tahoe territories. Lydia and I directly work with that group to
Okay.
develop those itineraries.
I wanted to make sure you guys were all communicating.
Absolutely.
So Francine Burge you work with as well?
Yep, and Dave and I actually just recently met with Francine to talk about Stewart specifically and some different opportunities for collaboration.
She's bringing somebody in Wednesday, so I just wanted to make sure you guys all knew that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And Bobby, Dave Peterson for the record, sometimes they do their own thing too, right? So it may not be that we will always be involved, but when they need our help, of course, we're there, and Samantha too, right? So we had a great meeting with the two of them just to get some better understanding how we can better align, not just for Stewart Indian School Culture Center and Museum, but also Division of Museums and History with the two properties that are in Carson City there as well. But yeah, we try to align when we can because I think it's, the tide lift all boats, right? If we're all working collaboratively. And sometimes we can spin something off ourselves, right? From whatever Travel Nevada wants to do. So, but yeah, we're all about the connections now with everybody.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you for the question. So how are we measuring our media and public relations? So in the past, we've had a publicity value. So basically, we assign a value to the number of stories that we get throughout the year. This year, we're looking to increase our goal publicity value to $750,000. And we're hoping to do this by reaching 12 national Tier 1, what we're calling Tier 1 feature story outlets. We're looking to place feature stories in 12 national outlets and then mentions of Visit Carson City because a lot of media now like to do roundups. So they'll do the top 10 places to visit for fall foliage as an example. And a mention would include Visit Carson City in a Tier 1 outlet being 10 Best, USA Today, etc. So we also knew this year wanted to define the number of placements that we're getting for Visit Carson City because it's not always just in these Tier 1 outlets. We also have Tier 2 outlets. So those are the regional stories that we get, whether that's in the Reno market, maybe that's in the area media market. That's our Tier 2 because of those day trippers that Ryan was referring to in our target audiences. And then further, there's Tier 3. We consider it's niche media, Tier 3. So rail fans and railways is a perfect example. It's a media outlet dedicated to people who are interested in railroads and railroad history. And so we have defined those outlets with Lydia and have a lot more detail that we could share again in the larger marketing plan. But this year we want to keep a scorecard and we have goals associated to each of those outlets so that we're sharing the overall more complete picture of the number of stories we're getting and then in the different types of media outlets that those stories are taking place. And then we use Cision to track all of our media monitoring. Content creation. So content creation, really connecting with visitors. This allows us to connect with visitors on a more deep level. It's how we build long-term engagement, and we believe in authentic, curated content based on the key values of a brand. As content creators, we put on our journalism hats and approach content that relates to and engages with our audiences. This content's really data-driven. So we use informed keywords search volume to help us identify content gaps that our target audiences are looking for when searching for their next getaway. Our content team works closely with our search team, Julia, who will talk to you here in a little bit, to ensure that we're writing stories that aren't just captivating, but they're hitting the right audience. They're the stories that people are searching for when they're looking to go book their next fall vacation, as an example. So our content will primarily focus on the main attractions, categories, and content pillars: history, outdoor, arts and culture, and family friendly.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julia Jones. I've been with KPS3 for about 12 years, and I am our Director of Search and Digital Media. So one thing you'll be seeing this year is a more concerted effort on search engine optimization, or SEO. So mid-year, we'll be developing an SEO plan that kind of identifies non-branded searches, so searches that don't include the word Carson City or a well-known attraction like the Kings Canyon Waterfall, but have travel intent behind them. So think outdoor vacations, family vacations to Lake Tahoe. We want to kind of set a plan, set some goals, and then identify the type of content we then have to develop to start ranking for some of those non-branded, travel-oriented keywords. And that plan will be developed mid-year. It does require that we have a very good website. So Ryan's going to talk a little bit about the website now.
So, we've mentioned a couple times about the Visit Carson City website. And I think since we launched it, it has so much content and like worthwhile content that's on there. It's been constantly updated as well too, that it's become like the central hub for Carson City and like events that are going on and just information in general. So this year, just like Lydia mentioned, our efforts are really to optimize the website for better search engine rankings and then also increase conversion rates. Within that, though, we do have other tactics that are listed here. So we have like building a new landing page for the pop-up campaign that we'll talk about a little bit later. We talked a little bit about this too, but migration of the site to the new hosting provider and server. And the third bullet, which is important too, performing that regular maintenance to ensure that the site and server are continually kept up to date. And I think that also delves a little bit into security as well, making sure everything's updated. And then with our remaining budget, also looking at like identifying and modifying certain design elements within there too. So still keeping where we can, like that website fresh, clean. Again, Lydia and Zach and Dave really do keep the content, very fresh. And I think that has a large part to do with it too, to make sure that people are still going to the Visit Carson City website. In terms of goals and our measurement, increasing the total website sessions by 10% year over year, and then achieve a tourism industry standard of 2.4 conversion rate as well too.
All right, so our email strategy is handled in-house, and KPS3 will be helping take that over while I'm on maternity leave. So I'm glad that they're also here to meet meet the team that will be helping on that. But we want to lay out a really strong strategy and measurement practices for this year. So our overall focus is going to be increasing engagement and clicks and segmenting our email list and target them based on their interest. So we'll continue to utilize our paid social advertising to build a really engaged audience, which I feel like with our open rates thus far has actually been really successful. But ways that we're going to do this and improve this is going to be consistency in cadence, delivery, and design, and creating an automated email flow. We'll conduct A/B testing on subject lines, content, and more, and really measure our efforts. We're going to clean up our subscriber list to remove those who are not engaging, and then we hope these efforts then increase our engagement rates a couple of percentage points to 38% from 36%. We're about 36.5 right now, and then our click rate to 3.5. And from there, I will hand over to Jenna and Ryan to go over something, a concept kind of new that you guys seen as our pop-up campaign.
Yeah. So the beauty of having a brand that's building awareness and a campaign that is chugging along is that we have the ability to get a little bit more creative and bring a little bit more imagination to the creative for Visit Carson City this year. So we're calling this a pop-up campaign. You might have heard of this as like a guerrilla campaign or a non-traditional campaign. It's just our way to differentiate it from the traditional media campaign that's already running. But essentially, the creative team's gonna bring some friends along and really be partnering with Nicole and Sarah and of course the Visit Carson City team to develop a campaign that is focused on public relations and social media and engagement. So it gives us a really fresh platform. We can be more timely with the pop-up campaign, and it's going to complement our existing work. So one of the brand pillars that we really want to lean into this year is the outdoor brand pillar because we have a little bit of timeliness there that we can cash in on, and we're developing that creative concept now. But really, at the end of the day, what a pop-up campaign means to us is that we want to do creative that's going to write headlines. We want it to be splashy. We want it to be engaging and really to leave a mark in the tourism industry that people will remember.
Yeah, and I think just on our current slide right now, Jenna hit on this, and what you'll see throughout these pop-up campaigns are collaborative effort. So not just a collaborative effort between everybody at KPS3, but then also Visit Carson City. So just showing you just some of the things that we work on with this is like that creative concept from like a design aspect, also looking at media and also key constituent outreach through PR, social media, a landing page with like developers. So there is a very much collaborative effort to really make sure that we're kind of like hitting all outlets. And again, going back to our audiences and who they are, and like for this one we will be working on, the outdoor, making sure we kind of tap them in every way that they may be, whether looking at our website, on social media, through PR, and yeah, just a really good campaign.
All right, so they didn't just bring me for one slide. Julia Jones again. I'm going to be talking about the digital media plan, and then I'll turn it over to Lydia to talk a little bit about traditional media. But a good portion of our advertising dollars this year are going to digital media, and that is because it's the most targeted and also the most trackable among the advertising mediums you can use. It also offers the most flexibility. So our goal this year is to really maximize efficiency of our ad spend, and do that by staying on top of the data that's coming in, and then use that to push what's working, pull what's not, target the people who are engaging and converting, and pull back on the people who aren't. So the way we're going to do that this year, so we're going to add a couple things to our toolbox. The biggest and probably one of the most exciting ones is Datafy, which is a tool you guys brought on previously to collect visitor data, but they also have an advertising platform that we'll be using this year for video and then remarketing display advertising. So we'll be able to use not only your past visitor data, but current data to inform not just the ads that will run on Datafy, but because we have access to all that data, we can then use it to inform other channels like Google, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. The other kind of substantial change we're going to make this year is we're going to shift our keyword strategy a bit on the search advertising side to focus on non-branded travel terms. So I'll talk about that a little more in a bit. And then we're going to provide some more kind of in-depth monthly reports for the Carson team. So again, we can kind of stay on top of what's working, what's not, and adjust since these channels allow us to do that. So this is a quick look at the digital side of the house in terms of channels and budgets. The majority of the investment is going to 3 places. So Datafy, again, that's going to be video and then remarketing display ads. Google, specifically paid search, but we'll also be using Google for Performance Max and YouTube advertisements. And then Meta, which covers Facebook and Instagram. And then we also set aside some budget to whitelist some influencer content on TikTok, which I'll talk about. Another change this year is a flighted spend. So we want to be always on with our advertising, but this year we're flighting our spend, so most of the investment is happening when we want to drive more visitors in that off season. So there's never a period where we're going to be dark, but again, we want to increase that investment really starting in October, but then have it heavily November through February, and then kind of go back down a bit as we get into the on season in the spring and summer. On the social media side, our goal is really to increase awareness, again, amongst people that we're seeing engagement with. So we're going to focus on impressions, frequency, and then also engagement on and off platform. Best channel to do that is with Meta, as you guys have seen in the past. So we're going to really focus on Facebook and Instagram. And then, like I said, we'll be able to use the audience data that we get from Datafy to inform who we're targeting on the social side as well. So on the Facebook and Instagram side of the house, we're going to be using interest, location, demographic targeting. We're also going to introduce remarketing into Facebook and Instagram this year, and we'll be leveraging the nostalgia campaign as well. And then on the TikTok side of the house, you guys work with an influencer you've had a lot of success with before, Shelby. She's heavily present on TikTok, so we want to carve out a little money to kind of support the content that she's going to be putting out for you this year. Sorry, I already talked about this one. Thank you. All right, search. So when you search for something on the internet, first 2, maybe 10 results are advertisements, as you guys know by now. So the primary purpose of the search side is to get right in front of people who are actively searching for places to vacation, but maybe they aren't quite sure where to go. So it's the best channel to drive kind of really high quality engagement right away at a relatively low cost. So what we want to do this year is we want to continue running what's been working for you. Go to the next slide. So you guys have run some really successful lodging campaigns in the past around places to stay in Carson, but also Tahoe. So we want to keep those going and kind of improve on the results that you've had. And then we want to expand out into searches that maybe don't include Carson City in the search, but are highly intentful. So we've kind of categorized them in 3 different ways. We have vacations and getaways. This is exactly what you think. So Lake Tahoe family vacation, outdoor trips near me, things like that. We also want to introduce what we're calling a local getaway campaign. And this is where we separately target specific terms to our target markets. So something like weekend getaways near Sacramento or trips from San Francisco, things like that. And then outdoor. This will obviously change by the season, but it will have a mix of, again, travel intent, so Lake Tahoe ski trip, then also cool outdoor things to do in Nevada, things like that. Performance Max is another inventory from Google, and essentially what it does is it complements your keyword-based campaigns, so in this case, our search campaign. Google takes the keywords that we're targeting, takes the data from the people who are engaging with those ads, and then it serves those people ads on its other inventories, so display, video. And then Datify, we already talked about a bit, but essentially just expanding your relationship with them to take advantage of their video and display advertising network. And the reason we're doing this is, number one, relative to other options, they are pretty dang cost effective. Number two, because they have all that data, we have a lot more targeting options here than we do if we just use Google, if we just stick with YouTube, if we just stick to display, because they have your actual advertising data. And they'll continue to gather that data as we run our campaign and feed it back to us, which is great. And we'll be doing online video and remarketing display, as I mentioned. So KPIs in terms of, again, just the advertisement. On the Datify side of the house, video is much more of our awareness. So we're looking at views, view rate, cost per view, and then the completion rate. On the remarketing side, we want to see a high number of impressions, a lot of reach, and a high frequency at a very low cost. But it is remarketing, so that's also where we want to see the engagement. And that comes in terms of the clicks on the ad, but also once people get to the website, what are they doing? We don't just want them to get to the website and leave. We want them to get to the website and engage.
All right. And obviously you can see that digital marketing is a massive part of our media plan, but we're not leaving traditional behind. And also it won't be changing a whole lot from our previous years. Our strategy here is to not just pick a publication that only provides an ad, but really look for those that add value-added options beyond just that print option. So we are going to continue to focus on that. I'll let you read through the list of where our primary ads are currently running. But we're also going to continue to seek out OTA and co-op opportunities like we have with Travel Nevada to continue to support our lodging properties directly and any other projects that help propel our messaging to our best audiences. But most importantly, we do keep flexibility in our budget so that we can take opportunities that arise throughout the year that maybe we didn't get planned for. Obviously, with our fiscal year starting in the middle, in July 1st, sometimes we miss the timing of certain opportunities. So we're trying to keep that as flexible as we can. And by now, I think you know that Dave and I love data and analytics. So reporting is a crucial part of also bringing on KPS3 to kind of have their hand in more of the pot this year, was so that we can really take on more of that measurement and reporting in a more consistent basis. It's kind of mission critical to tracking our success of all of these efforts that you've heard about today. So they'll be providing reports throughout the year for digital advertising, public relations, organic social media, and SEO, which I will report back to you at our board meetings or happy to provide at any time, per your request.
All right. So this is probably Dave and myself, one of our favorite slides out of this marketing presentation. But Here you'll see a breakdown of this first year, and as it says at the bottom, this is year one, so this is for this fiscal year of 2024 of our budget, and how basically the different amounts for this plan go into motion. I will call out that for the 285,000, it does fluctuate between the four-year plan outlined in our original RFP, and kind of does break down because there's times when another division, it may be going with like a new website in the next couple of years. So we really did kind of like outline each one of these buckets per year to really like make sure that we were within our budget for the entire contract.
All right, so this concludes the marketing plan. Like Lydia had mentioned, and apologies, Sarah Plato, KPS3. Like Lydia had mentioned, we do have a much longer version of the plan, so there's even more detail. But we've assembled this dream team, and now we have this plan, and now we're just going to continue to work the plan throughout the year and continue to report back to you. And we'll be optimizing and making refinements and doing our analysis all year long, so we can maximize all of your spend and get people here into Carson City. We're really excited about this year and open to any questions you may have.
Questions from the board? Well, thank you. It was a nice presentation. It seems to me that it's just like it wasn't last meeting, but very quickly we were all here together deciding whether to continue our journey with KPS3. And I was all for it because I thought you understood us and you could hit the ground running. And you understood our vision and what David and the team are trying to do. And I think today proved that that was the right decision.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm glad you didn't bring the hundreds of pages. But it shows a lot of work and thought, and thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Mm.
Did we approve the plan, the full 1,000-page document?
No, because these guys worked all summer on this, so this kind of started during the RFP process. This is a first blush, first pass to get something in front of you guys, because I wanted you to know directionally where we're going. We took from the proposal, guidance from you all as the board to move, to obviously get to this point, but no, because the whole plan is like 100 and, I don't know, 30, 40
Yeah.
pages, and I didn't want to, take
So
2 hours.
Wouldn't that be something that this body should approve?
We certainly could, yeah, if you guys,
I don't know that we need a 1,000-page presentation, but
yeah.
but the plan, and I just liken it to the things that come before the board of supervisors, and any plan that is an expenditure of public funds is, decided on and approved by the governing body.
Yeah, we certainly,
So I'd like to see that, would be
Okay.
the first comment I would have. Secondly, since we're already into the year, right? I mean, we're sitting in October now. Are you going to have to modify things a little bit? I mean, can this plan, I guess what I'm asking is, would it make more sense to do a multi-year plan more in line with the agreement that's in place? It's a multi-year agreement, correct?
the contract,
So would it
Yeah.
make more sense to do sort of I'm just asking the question,
yeah,
a broader sort of plan that was at a 30,000-foot level strategic plan
gotcha.
over the course of the contract, and then maybe an annual, tweak to
Like
it.
like the update for the
Yeah.
upcoming fiscal year within the
I mean,
contract. We could
because- but-
look at something like that.
So as we're looking at and I'm not trying to make more work, and
Mhm.
and I realize I may be doing that, but just I guess think about that, because as I said, we've just got the skeleton of a plan that we're now almost 3 months into already.
Right,
So, and I know that's the nature of it because of the bidding process, and
right.
so that's what I'm saying. If it's a fiscal year 24-25 plan, it's a little more doable, because are things really going to change that much from year to year? I mean, I guess that's a question. Do you guys see us changing things so drastically from one fiscal year to the next that a plan becomes obsolete after a year?
Sarah Polito, KPS3. We had always intended for this plan to kind of be the foundational base for the next 4 years, and then
Right.
each year we would just make modifications based on new trends and what may be happening in the marketing arena. If something happens with Meta or whatnot, or different platforms
Course,
become
yeah, you have to
available, we
be
would
reactionary to what's
yes.
going on in the market, of course,
Mhm.
because no one knows what's out there 2 years from now, what trend could be.
Yep.
Right.
God knows the four of us are really trendy and could be anything, but I mean, Kitty's probably very trendy. Me, not so
Yeah.
much. Anyway,
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is maybe you bring back that plan and it's a multi-year plan.
Sure.
Then we're not doing that massive plan every
Every year.
year.
I think that's a great
right?
idea.
And then that
Yeah.
plan can become the 4-year
Mhm.
strategic marketing plan or whatever you want to call it, with some annual tweaks that
Yeah.
I like that better, because then this body has seen it and approved it, and we've
Yeah.
got a vision going forward for multiple years.
I think that's a
Not
fair.
just at the whim of the wind, from year to
Sure.
year.
It'd allow us to be more flexible too, with how the plan changes, as Board Member Giomi says. We don't, all the hip people up here. What's TikTok? No.
You don't want to know, Mike.
But, no, I think that's a good idea, and could we bring it up?
Maybe Mike and I will
for
do
approval?
a TikTok dance.
Oh, that could go
Sarah?
viral.
That can be arranged.
Wow.
Only thing I
Uh-huh. If you want to plan, we want to dance.
The only thing I have to say about that is we're trying to attract visitors.
Kitty's
Or-
fitting in well. I love it. I do appreciate that input and do like that vision. I think a large part of wanting to get this in front of you was before I went on maternity leave as
Right,
well,
right.
just so you knew what's to come and what we're capable of over the next year. But I do
I
do
think
like
in
your
a lot of
vision
ways,
for that
if
a
we
lot.
do that, it will reduce the amount of work you have to do, as opposed to increase the amount of work. Because you
Agreed.
have a multi-year plan
Yeah.
with annual tweaks or adjustments to that plan, where you can, talk about what changes there are at Meta that allow you to do X, Y, and Z.
And Stacy, Dave, for the record, you would probably like then for us to incorporate, when we're looking at some website modifications, enhancements, just kind of lay that out as we see it in year 3 or whatever, year 4. It just big picture, right? Not get into the
Yeah.
minutia of exact, okay. So I think we should bring something back then,
Yeah.
maybe at the November, December meeting, depending on how much time you all would
Yep.
like.
Mhm.
But I like that idea too.
I mean, it seems to me you're taking the existing document, making some minor modifications to the
Correct.
cover
Yeah.
page that
Yep.
says it's a multi-year thing, and maybe a few tweaks throughout.
Yeah.
But in the long run, I think it's going to serve us.
I like that
It's going
idea.
to serve us better.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think
and
it's a
it
great
gives
approach.
something for all of us to go forward with,
Yes.
whether you're dealing with an influencer or our hotel properties in the community, who know what our plan is going to be.
Yep.
Years out.
I like that idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And these guys did an amazing
Thank you.
job. I just want to say the last
Yeah, no,
3 months,
I
I'm
did not
super
mean to
proud.
suggest that what this
Yeah.
is not.
Oh, yeah. No.
So,
Oh, yeah.
no, it's amazing.
Lydia
amazing.
and, yeah, these guys, I really appreciate the time they took, and I love the data. I like that it's data informed, research informed. So, and just that collaboration, I think that's what I wanted you all to see, right? Because we made a, conscientious decision to do this more integrated approach and not have KPS3 kind of on certain things sitting on the sidelines. Not that things weren't doing and being done very well, but now it's a fully integrated effort, and they have a hand in all the different aspects, right, of what we're doing from marketing and PR standpoint. So, good job, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all for making it through that.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
I gave you guys 2 hours. I mean, you were going fast. Wow.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That takes us to item 12, non-action items for presentation, discussion only. Executive Director's update, David?
Thank you, Chair Jones. Dave Peterson for the record. 12A, I've got 3 items to bring in front of the board. Thank you, you guys. Take care. So Chris was able to get the Arts and Culture Program Manager position listed on the 1st of September. So we have that on the NeoGov website. We have all done our part, including Lydia, to get it out to the different folks, LinkedIn pages and Nevada Arts Council, Museums History, everybody, to get the word out about the position. I am aware that there are applicants that have applied already, so that's great. I don't know who they are or anything like that. Thank you, Lydia. Take care, you guys. Thank you. So just a quick update, we are going to leave the position open for the month of September, and then we'll go through and review, all the applications that are in. My second item, as your V&T Railway Commission designee, I'm very happy to say that Polar Express tickets, fingers crossed, will go on sale on the 14th this week at 9 a.m. And I'm also happy to say that Tom Gray agreed to add the fourth car this year. So that gives us, it'll be coach, it'll be 60 seats times 3, right? So 3 runs, 180 seats a night. That'll help, I think, tremendously, given the fact that we stopped our waiting list at like 6,000, whatever, 500 people or something last year. So every little bit helps on that front. So, and then last thing, I just wanted to congratulate Bobby. So on Friday, I went up to the Truckee Community Recreation Center, hopefully I've said that correctly, where she has the traveling Stewart Indian School Cultural Center and Museum exhibition, I guess, per se, up there. And it was lovely. I think it was like 20 people. It was great. Bobby did an amazing job with a nice talk, giving the history of the Stewart facility. Just great. So if you get a chance to go up there, it goes to UNR next, and I don't want to steal all your thunder, Bobby. You're probably going to comment on this, but the more exposure I think that we can get for people to Stewart, the better off we are. And when they find out about it, they're just, my gosh, engaged. So it's just wonderful. So great job. And thanks to Deborah and Stephen, because they helped Bobby actually hang it. And Stephen was there manufacturing clips or something to affix it to the wall. It was pretty cool. So good job on that end. So that's my update for this month. If anybody has any questions on those things. If not, I will take us on to 12B. So in your packet on the large sheet, I think this will be the first time you'll see this right at this meeting, because last month we were finishing the June revenues for fiscal 23. So all I'm going to let you all know is we came up with a budget of 27.918, and have not made any adjustments for the month of July. So we've still got some returns that were coming in last week, and it's just a timing thing, right, in terms of when we can get everything in relative to putting the packet and everything together. But when we come back in November, we should have July, August, maybe a look at September at that point. But I think we're actually going to pace pretty close to that 3.39 million projection for the month of July. Any questions on this one? Okay. With that, we will move on to 12C, events and sales update. So I'm going to switch and go down there to do this update on behalf of Stu. All right. Is this working? Good, there we go. Okay, so I'm not Stu, so I'll do my best here to hopefully not bungle this up. So quick outline in terms of all things special events, sales related. So we'll talk about the Outlaw Flat Track Race results, update on the Bronco celebration forthcoming next month, Silver State Art Festival, which was awesome, just attended that myself over the weekend, Bonanza Kennel Club coming up, as well as something new, Nevada. I don't know if it's NICA or NICA race, but that is the high school students who race their mountain bikes. So Outlaw Flat Track, they were 20% over last year for registered riders, which is great because a lot of those riders do come from outside this area, in California, Southern Nevada, which is great. Up to almost 40% higher ticket sales, which I think is wonderful. Stu said it was totally packed when he went. It was just, grandstands were full, which is awesome. New series, the Hooligans, that brought some additional folks from out of town, again, probably to come watch their favorite rider, per se. And we did get the surveys sent out after the race, so hopefully we'll be able to get some results back at the November meeting. So that's the plan there. We have to work through Mr. Hansen and his team to get that survey out to riders, exhibitors, vendors, all those folks that are coming in from out of the area. And then I'm excited about the Bronco Super Celebration. We also have Capital Ford on board, which I think is awesome. We're trying to work something out with Member McKay for a little dinner and show package on Saturday night, because they do not do their own entertainment. They try to work with the community, which I think is awesome. Local restaurants, bars, music scene. So right now, we've got these different groups: the Gold Country Broncos, Sin City Broncos. And I don't have an update, unfortunately, from Stu, but as of putting the packet together last week, 50 Broncos were registered, and we have 10 vendors, which I think is a pretty great number for right now. We got a month. Go ahead, Stacy.
Is it Mills Park or?
Yeah.
Mills Park, okay.
So Mills Park will be the primary location where they'll park their Broncos. They'll do an awards ceremony, which is really cool, through the pavilion. I'm super excited about that. They'll drive the Broncos in, which is going to be cool for trophies and everything. And then on Thursday and Friday, so we're capped at 100 Broncos that can actually go to Prison Hill. So we're going to go 25 in the morning on Thursday, 25 in the afternoon, and then Friday, repeat. So we can get 100 of the Broncos to go out and explore the off-road highway recreation vehicle area at Prison Hill, which is just going to be, I think, fantastic. So we were out there with Tom and his family, who put this thing on, and they loved it. They just thought this is perfect for their folks. There will be some folks too, again, my philosophy, you guys, right? We're still a regional destination. There's a lot of interest in Virginia City, right, and Lake Tahoe. So there'll be people that are going to go up to Virginia City, which I think is awesome, right? And go up to Lake Tahoe. You've come this far, right? You're traveling across the country, wherever you're from. You need to see this whole area, right? So people will kind of be able to go at their own pace. We're not coordinating anything like that. We're just working with Parks and Rec on the OHV side of things. So again, this is October 4 to 7, and I think it's going to be a wonderful event. And I don't know if Stu last month mentioned, but they are committed to this becoming an annual event here in Carson City. So we are the Western United States location now for the event, and they work with Ford Motor Company, to put these things on throughout the country. So exciting. Yes.
I know that we're still almost a month out, and the booking window for these sort of things are fairly short. Have you heard anything from any of the hotels in town, whether they're picked up?
Personally, no. Unfortunately, that Stu has all the information on that end, Chair Jones. So I don't know any specifics, on the bookings. But everything we're doing is to push people into hotels. I can assure you of that. Rob McFadden and Mike, I think you're allowing some parking at your place, right, for the trailers, right? So, and thank you for that, Chair Jones. Rob McFadden has some property across the way from Mills Park. He's also opened that up as well. So we're working all the insurance details out. That way folks can have their trailers there close. Some of these are probably show Broncos, they pavement princesses or whatever they're referred to, right? So at least it's close enough. Same thing with Mike's property, to where they can just, unload and drive a mile, not even, from Rob's property to Mills Park, right? So, but yeah, I'll have to get back to you, Chair Jones,
Maybe
on
Stu's
booking.
heard something.
I'll find out when he returns to the office, where things stand on the booking side of things. But
Thank you.
yeah, well, our sponsorship agreement, I shouldn't say that. We don't have a sponsorship agreement. This is an endorsed event, right? But they committed to, this is the Western United States location that they're going to have their Ford Bronco Celebration event. So they're in Tennessee, they're in Colorado. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the other locations, but basically we're the Western U.S. location, so I'm excited about that. And this is an endorsed event, so forgive me if I said sponsorship earlier, but endorsed through Parks and Rec, right? So we don't have an additional cash infusion that we're having to put in through like a destination sponsorship agreement, but we've gotten a lot of publicity out of this so far, right? Just with this new West Coast location for the event. So it's very, very exciting, and I'm very happy to hear that they want to come back. I think Tom's words to Stu, or I don't care if we have 3 Broncos or 300 Broncos, will be coming back to Carson City. And I would like to, if I may, Parks and Rec was awesome, to work with. So Dan Castens and that whole team, we had wonderful meetings, and they were just so open to working with Tom and these guys. I mean, they're looking, you know, how do we do our own trash? How do we do this? How do we do that? So they're very mindful of, you know, leaving as minimal a footprint as possible, right, in the community that they come into. So it's going to be really cool. So you have to come out that first weekend of October. Silver State Art Festival, we just had that. It was wonderful. So as you know, we sort of take that over with Christy Dial and the whole group at Fuji Hall and the exhibit hall. And we had people, again, Nevada, California, Arizona. I'm sure there were some folks from other states as well. A lot of people. I was there Saturday. It was just great to see the different artisans. So as Stu has in here, 40 plus artists and vendors from Nevada, California, and Arizona. And I talked with Christy yesterday, or not yesterday, on Saturday, and she said that they were already ahead on attendance at that point relative to last year, which I think is great because we've seen this event, again, expand, grow, bring additional artists, artisans, and vendors, and the people are following as well. So it was lovely to see the different classes that were being taught out in the grassy areas. It was just really cool. So we'll have surveys going out on that one. That part is us, right, on the back end. So we'll get that out through Christy. She had the QR codes up, which is really cool too. So for people to take the survey on their phone while they were there, if they wanted to, they could just scan the QR code. And then, of course, on the Datafy side of things, not to make it all about data and Datafy, we polygoned in the different venues in Carson City, right? Fuji Park being one of them. So we're actually able to see and measure from the mobile device counts what that traffic looked like over the course of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So remember, Datafy, this is new with us with the analytics platform, right? So we're still learning. We're working through some details on that. I won't get into too many details because I'll probably screw something up and Lydia will yell at me for saying something. But I'm excited to see now that we have these events that are coming into a particular facility to use that Datafy data to understand where these people were coming into and out of. And as you all know, I think we have this opportunity. You've got 15 million people, right, who are visiting the Lake Tahoe Basin to tap into those folks, but also to differentiate between residents inside the basin and the visitors to the basin. And I think the same thing is true too for Washoe County as well. So Bonanza Kennel Club. So this, Stacy, this has been absolutely wonderful. This comes in at the end of September, October 1st. We've got most of these folks coming from over 100 miles. They'll spend 2 to 3 nights here. Half of them, I guess, are bringing other folks with them, which I think is wonderful. The 2022 data for 2022, they had 735 dogs. I think that's quite impressive, to be honest with you. Majority, California, New Hampshire, Oregon, again, out-of-state people, heads in beds, and she's looking to do the same number this year, which I think is fantastic. So again, September 30 and October 1st. And Stacy, if you want to represent us, there's going to be a Visit Carson City award. If you want to be that person to give that award for that particular whatever is happening, yeah, that would be awesome. So yeah, she's done a great job, I think, and happy to be working with her. And I don't know how I didn't know about this before, because this is the exact type of event we want, you guys. Half these folks are coming in from out of area 2-3 nights, right? So I think it's just going to be lovely.
Yeah, I've talked to Candy about it for a number of years, and just last year we changed maybe it was 2 years ago, we changed our parks policy on rentals and equipment, and the cost went up for them and their team, and they were, obviously not happy about that. And but I said, look, this is the exact kind of event that CTA will sponsor, because it puts people in beds, and it's probably honestly one of the biggest single events in terms of selling out rooms in the region that no one really knew about. So yeah, I'm happy that they decided to knock on our door.
Yeah, we're short of the golf cart rentals. We're working through all of the other costs with the interlocal agreement, right? So I think it's going to be a wonderful event. I look forward to being out there. So great. And this is a new one. I'm really excited about this. It gives us another crack at a outdoor bicycling race. So the Nevada Interscholastic Cycling League is going to be bringing this race to Carson City. Apparently, the gentleman that we spoke to who, I do not remember his name, but he is the head coach of the Carson City mountain biking team or cycling team, I guess I should say. He's been trying to get a race here in Carson City for several years, and we're doing it. So it'll be the first NICA race to be held in Carson City. And this too, in working with Nikki, is going to become an annual event as well. So it will leave from Western Nevada College. So we've got the state tied in with this, which I think is great. And then they will be all up on the western side of Carson City. And I'm excited. We've got teams coming from Mammoth, Bishop, and Ely. So Mr. Horvath, our former marketing manager, he's bringing the whole squad from Ely out here. And some of these folks, it's like 40 kids, right? And you've got high school students. So there's going to be some parents, grandparents coming as well. So again, shoulder season, and we've got some room night opportunities on this one. So I think the RFQ may have went out for this. Mike, I don't know if you saw that come out from Stu, but oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know the date. I'm going to have to get back to you on that because I'm drawing an absolute blank on the date. It's in October, though, I believe. I'm sorry, I don't know the date. We have a lot of events going on, and I'm got some mix up in my head.
Is the route? I just want to mention at the board meeting, is the route on a website somewhere that you're aware of? I mean, do you know about where they're going?
It's a loop, is what I do know. So they'll
start and end it.
start and end it, and keep
I mean, are they
looping
using,
it.
as far as you know, like the
Parks
Ash to Kings Canyon Trail or
Some part of it. Yeah, so it is on open space. And then Greg and Lindsay also explained to us that part of it, I guess, is on state land that the city leases or something, or permits for trails, because we cross over to get onto the open space.
probably in Ash Canyon.
Yeah, but I'll send you the proposed loop, because there is a document that shows that, tentatively at least, because they got to flag it and do all that. So I'll get you, I'll reply to everybody, and I'll share with you the loop route and then the date. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, but this is exciting, to have another race. Again, pushing, we talked about our special event tourism strategy, right events, right time of the year, right visitor, so again,
Well,
super
and it's
exciting.
great that it's bikes again, because
Yes.
I mean, we're developing
Yes,
that reputation.
Absolutely.
And so it fits right in. So thank you.
yeah, no, thank you guys. Yeah. I'm Stu Junior, I guess, for the day. So, so Stu and I thank you. Any questions on the events and sales update? Okay, so Mike, I'll swing back up. Okay, with that, we will move on to 12D, future agenda items. Does any member of the board wish to have anything come onto the agenda for the next meeting, other than what we talked about, looking at maybe the multi-year marketing PR plan? Okay, seeing no takers, we'll move on to 12E. So our next meeting will be November 13th, right here in this room at 4 p.m. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Chair Jones.
Thank you, David. Takes us to item 13, board comments or announcements, requests for information. Anybody on the board? Board Member Rader?
Bobby Rader. I just wanted to thank Dave for coming to the reception at the Truckee Community Center. It was a lovely event. It was very nice of them to offer to host it for us. I just wanted to let you know that they asked me also to come out and talk to their golden class. So I did that the week before the reception. And they have, Sven Leff is the director of the community center, told us repeatedly at the reception that all of the comments they've received from their visitors through that hallway were just amazing. And it kind of made me wonder why don't leave a comment book for these kinds of things. But this is a new experience for us. But he said all of the responses were just amazing, and they were very happy to host it for us, and we're grateful to them for hosting it for us. And as Dave mentioned, from here, it'll be up through probably the end of October at Truckee. If you get a chance to get up there, it's a beautiful facility. I can't recommend it enough. It's so pretty. And then also, From there, it will go to the UNR Lilly Museum for the month of November for Native American Month. And so they're showing a good part of the exhibit there, and we're grateful to them for hosting that. And then we have some other locations we're looking at for afterwards. So I just wanted to thank all the sponsors of this exhibit, which are Visit Carson City, Nevada Indian Commission, the Great Basin Native Artists Collective, for helping us to put this together, because we've never had this opportunity to get the story of Stewart out into different areas. We are also looking at taking it down to Las Vegas to some locations, just to get the story out there. And it's been a great experience for us. So thank you, everybody. That's it.
Thank you. Board Member Giomi.
Yeah, just wanted to mention two things. Tonight at 6 o'clock at Mills Park at the Twin Towers Memorial is a 9/11 remembrance, so if you're out and interested. At our last board meeting, let me back up, at a couple of board meetings ago, Board of Supervisors approved the Mills Park Master Plan, which is a re-envisioning of Mills Park. At our last board meeting, we approved $15 million Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act grant application for, as I said, $15 million to basically carry out that plan. So we won't, it's pretty ambitious grant application. Our Parks Director, Jennifer Budge, thinks we have a pretty good shot at it. Even if we don't get the whole thing, even parts of it would. It's very modularized, so we could do individual park updates, but it would really freshen up, and I mean, Mills Park is already a centerpiece of the community, but it would really freshen it up and add, in my opinion, the ability to do events there better than it is right now. More opportunities for kids to play, improved bathrooms, more pickleball courts, basketball courts, so things like that. We could bring events in, pickleball events, weekend events. This year they did the movies in Mills Park on Friday nights, and it went over very well. And so anyway, just wanted to bring that up. It'll probably be a year or so before we hear, and then maybe a year beyond that before we get the money, but it's out there.
That moves us to item 14, public comment. Any public comment out there? Seeing none, our last responsibility is item 15, and that's I can get a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second. We're adjourned.